Hello, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as City Manager of Decatur, and it's my pleasure to bring these weekly updates to you. Okay, first the bad news. There have been nearly 50 new cases since last Friday in Macon County, and the total number of COVID cases in the county is approaching 800. The good news, there have been more than 22,000 COVID tests administered in Macon County, a number almost equal to 1 in 5 Macon County residents, and the county's positivity rate is 3.4% compared to the state's positivity rate of 4.3%. But I want to caution, this is a long-term positivity rate. The positivity rate just for the last week for which data is available for Macon County is 6.5%. And as that number gets closer to 8%, that's what triggers a warning. And while some people still think that they have the legal right to endanger their fellow citizens by not taking precautions, on balance, mask use locally, social distancing, and other preventive practices are being much more widely observed. New habits just take a while to catch on, I guess, and become a part of our daily routines. So to you tough guys out there, I say, real men can wear masks. Although at least 11 Illinois counties have now been issued warning status, that list does not yet include Macon County. But the total number of positivity cases as a number per 100,000 population is still too high, and it's one of the things we have to watch the most closely here in Macon County to make sure that we don't get on that warning list. Warning status would set the county on the road to Phase 3 rules, which mandates that some businesses close, and none of us want to see that. So the more we can continue to keep the new infection rates down by avoiding large groups and adopting the CDC protocols, the more everyone in Macon County can work together and do their part to strengthen the local economy and keep businesses open. Despite the pandemic, the work of city government continues, as it should. At its last meeting, the Decatur City Council adopted a new ordinance that relaxes previous law and allows the limited use of native or prairie plantings in residential backyards, on commercial properties, and as a part of certain landscaping schemes. Now, this might seem like a small thing, but it proved to be a fairly controversial topic because some citizens wanted much more freedom to plant large tracts of tall prairie grasses in residential zones, while others felt that large prairie grass landscapes do not fit into the urban residential zones and could be harbors for pests. So the city took things slow, and over the course of more than a year, it brought together a group of local experts that for a period of several months developed a compromise path that sought to find middle ground between those who wanted prairie plantings heavily regulated or not at all, and those who thought that people should be able to do whatever they wanted. It's not a perfect ordinance, but it is a valuable starting point. And I am grateful for the work of the ad hoc citizens committee that helped the city draft the new ordinance. But even though it's been adopted, the city council is still keen to make sure that it is the right ordinance. So they put what is called a sunset provision into the ordinance, which means that it will automatically expire at the end of 2021 unless the city council revisits the law and decides what changes should be made and votes to extend the rules, meaning we are likely to keep tweaking that ordinance to make it better. Also at their last meeting, the mayor and city council took 3 separate actions intended to advance neighborhood revitalization in the Johns Hill neighborhood in southeast Decatur. First, they approved a contract to replace more than 90 individual house service laterals that have lead and galvanized piping. Now, the city does not own these private service laterals, but their replacement will improve water quality in the neighborhood. Second, the council also approved an agreement with the Howard G. Buffett Foundation that will result in the installation of about $8 million worth of new infrastructure in the Johns Hill neighborhood, like new streets, curbs and guttering, alley paving, sidewalks, nicer streetlights, broadband, boulevard trees, and more. The city will complete its water service line replacement separately and other underground work first. That'll be done this fall, before the foundation-funded improvements on the surface take place beginning next spring. Needless to say, we are very thankful for the partnership of the Buffett Foundation. Third, and still in Johns Hill, the city voted to issue an emergency demolition order for a commercial building at the corner of Jasper and Cantrell Streets, where a motorist had recently lost control of their vehicle and plowed into the building, causing the front of the structure to collapse and render the rest of the building so unsafe that our code inspectors worried that it would fall onto Jasper Street. So the city council had to take quick action, and they did. Another critical aspect of neighborhood revitalization is making things easier for first-time homebuyers to access mortgage funds and obtain reasonable terms for their loans. So the mayor and city council also authorized the city's participation in a multi-city program that will increase access to loan assistance for those most in need of it to purchase a new home for their families, likely for the first time. Information about this program is available through your bank. Finally, let me make a few comments about the city's budget. I've talked before about how the pandemic has caused the city to be millions of dollars short in the normal revenues we use to make sure that basic services are provided without interruption. Police, water service, street maintenance, sewer collection, fire and rescue, code enforcement, neighborhood revitalization, and more. The good news is that we have brought down our budgeted and previously planned expenses in 2020 sufficiently that I believe we will be able to finish the 2020 fiscal year, which is at the end of December, without the need for any layoffs or any kind of significant service reductions, and enter the 2021 process without plans for increasing any taxes. Please don't misunderstand me. Our total staffing levels are down, and they're down in every department. But these reductions occurred through normal attrition, and by that I mean planned retirements, voluntary resignations, and so forth. Some of these positions were replaced, and some continue to be replaced, and some are not replaced, as we continually find ways to perform the work of the city and provide services more efficiently, sometimes with fewer people. But next year's budget for 2021, I believe, will be harder still. I am optimistic, however, that despite our current difficulties, we will find a way to provide the best services for the money that we have available. All of our employees, the men and women in the police department, public works department, the community development department, the fire department, and others, are all doing good work in very challenging times and very challenging circumstances. To these financial barriers, we have recently added more challenges in the form of an uptick in shootings. The family, relational, emotional, and spiritual aspects of this problem will take longer to fix, but once again, I believe that Decatur has the resources and has the right people and the will to deal with them. We just have to be willing to think differently than maybe we have in the past about the best strategies to face these challenges. The City Council plans to discuss this topic in the near future as well. So, thanks for listening and for helping to make Decatur better.